Hey guys, Languagehacker here. Thought I'd give you another guide since I'm long overdue for one. I'm bringing Token Druid this week to Grandmasters, and I thought it'd be a good idea to also highlight it in one of the guides. So let's get right into it. Token Druid, the deck that makes a lot of annoying boards to deal with. There's a lot of power that can come out of hand in terms of buffs on your minions that you're generating. Very, very spell heavy. Only 2 minions in the deck, just the two Gibberlings. And the reason for that is because we have some spells in here that synergizes with having other spells, namely Fungal Fortunes, which is 3 mana, draw 3. Discard any minions drawn, which obviously is awful if you discard Gibberling, but otherwise, very good source of card draw. Glowfly Swarm summons a 2/2, so multiple tokens on the board for each spell in your hand. Good at generating a big board just from a single card, which is very good. And the rest of the deck focuses around cycling, in terms of card draw, buffs, so you can make your tokens more powerful, threatening, and in some cases stickier, i.e. harder to remove. Yeah, so there's 2 main ways of making big boards, and one is Gibberling plus a bunch of cheap spells. And Gibberling is that, the text on Gibberling says that whenever you cast a spell, summon another Gibberling. And then that new Gibberling also has the same thing, where if you cast a spell, you generate a new Gibberling, and so on. So it kind of chains forward if you play multiple spells in a turn. So you can either make a big board by going Gibberling, some cheap spells, and then finish off with a buff to buff all of your 1/1s now, or you can end on a Soul of the Forest, Prize Free, whatever. That you want to end on a buff if possible. In some matchups, you don't really have to, because it's just more about having the board initially. But if you're afraid that your opponent can remove these 1/1s very easily, then you generally want to set yourself up on a turn where you can guarantee a buff, because it makes it harder to remove. And secondly, you can just make a Glowfly Swarm board, get to 5 mana or 4 mana or 3 mana if you have Innervator Bloom, and then just play the Glowfly Swarm, which gives you an entire board of tokens to work with. Things to consider. You need cards in hand for the Glowfly and the Gibberling both to work, because for the Gibberling, you just need multiple cards to pop off with after you play the Gibberling, and the Glowfly Swarm, you just need cards in hand. That's the restriction. So because of that, we're running cards like Fungal Fortunes, Guess the Weight. Nature Studies can also help you find card draw, but it's more flexible in the sense that it can get you anything. There's a lot of useful spells in Druid, even outside of what's in this deck, and it helps you kind of flexibly figure stuff out based on what you need in the scenario. You can also do something cheeky where you Nature Studies on turn 3 to end your turn, which means that next turn, the discount on the studies persists, which means that on turn 4, if you have cards in hand already, you can Glowfly Swarm a turn early, which is really, without having to use an Innervator Bloom, which is quite nice. Game plan is generally very similar. You want to be mulliganing for Gibberling in pretty much every single matchup, on or off the coin. You want Guess the Weight more often on the play than on the coin. You want Fungal Fortunes all the time, because, again, you need a lot of cards together. It acts like a sort of mini combo deck, where you do a couple of mini combos together, and with those combos, you push through on board and end the game. Sometimes in one turn, but mostly over a few turns as you put waves of buffs on, or waves of minions if they happen to clear your board. Glowfly, even though it is one of your only ways to generate a big board at once, it is very slow. As you can see, it's the most expensive card in the deck, so I don't generally keep it too often. Almost never on the play. On the coin, you can keep it a bit more if you have some other stuff to do before turn 5. Because if you keep Glowfly and then you go pass, coin Glowfly, you'll make a big board, but you give your opponent times to kind of do stuff. So you want to look for card draw so that you can accumulate a big hand and then identify what kind of play you want to be going for with the resources that you have available. Lunar Eclipse is great because it lets you, it cheats out, it doesn't cheat out mana, but the mana you spend on Lunar Eclipse gets discounted from the next spell you cast by 2, which lends itself very well to Gibberling, for example, and it just deals 3, which is useful against decks that try to keep you off the board, such as Paladin, Rogue, Rush Warrior as well, which seem to be very popular in the meta right now. Yeah, that's honestly the big gist of it. You want to be keeping card draw and Gibberling. If you have stuff to do going into turn, if you have stuff to do already and you have Glowfly on coin, you can keep Glowfly as well. Have a bit of early game, draw some cards, maybe discover something if you need to, and then leading up to a big Glowfly Swarm. But a lot of the games you want to be trying to spend your mana. Spending mana is very, very important with this deck. You can do a lot of combo-y things, but it doesn't matter if you do the combo-y things and then die because you took too long to do them. You can make some smaller boards in tempo-heavy matchups without super committing a lot of resources. Thorngrowth Sentries is one of those cards that lets you do that. You make small-sized board. If you have too many cards in hand, you're just kind of needing to dump cards because you don't have Dribbling or Glowfly. You can make like a mini board with Thorngrowth, maybe Adorable Infestation, and put like a Prize for your Soul of the Forest on it. Importantly about this deck, just making a board isn't good enough. You have to try to think of how your opponent can deal with your board and then decide how big your board needs to be so that your opponent can't easily remove it. And the easiest example of that is you don't want to go Dribbling Coin Adorable Infestation on 1 because you have a bunch of shitty 1/1s that can be daggered, they can be pinged by Mage, they can be hero powered by Druid. Most classes have a way to deal 1, so you don't really want to be going Dribbling Coin something on turn 1 unless it's something like Hunter, where you really just need to get on board, or your hand is like absolutely great, like Dribbling Coin, Bloom Power. Something like that can absolutely blow out a tempo deck. But against control decks, Priest, Control Warrior, even Warlock to some extent, going all in like that with 4 cards at the start, if you get wiped there, it takes you so long to get more cards up, to get another board going, that you want to make sure that you don't all in and then lose because you weren't able to basically build off of that initial board you made. So depending on if the matchup's slow or fast, you'll have to figure out if you want to go in on a board faster but weaker, or slower but stronger. And that's pretty much Token Druid in 5 minutes. Hope you guys like the guide. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what kind of other decks you want to see, and what kind of other guides you want to see in general if you don't like the 5-minute guides. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. See you next time.